My name is Ryan Campbell. I'm a future student advisor at Okanagan College. Really excited to have everyone here. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be talking about the Sustainable Building Technology program, which is offered out of Penticton. Before we start, I just want to respectfully acknowledge that Okanagan College's Penticton, Kelowna, and Vernon campuses are located on the traditional and unceded territories of the Silks Okanagan people. Our Salmon Arm campus is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Secwepemc, and our Revelstoke Center is located on the traditional and unceded territories of the Ktunaxa, Secwepemc, Sinixt, and Silks Okanagan peoples. So just a little outline of what we're going to be talking about. So I will be starting with campus life at OC, and then we'll move on to a case for sustainable buildings, an overview of the SBT program. We'll hear from students and alumni, and then we'll also talk about career opportunities and then what the next steps look like when it comes to actually applying to the program. So if you would like to put into the chat right now where you're joining us from, we would love to hear that. At the very end, we'll also be doing a survey where we will be giving away an OC branded t-shirt. So please, we'll draw someone's name for that. So we would love to hear from the potential students. So just looking at our campuses here and where we're located, if you're joining us from out of the region, have a short little video. All right. So as you can see from that video, we truly live in a four-season playground. So you can see we have everything from golf, wineries, ski hills, amazing hikes and scenery. So it is truly a special place, not only to live, but to study and work. So we're going to be focusing on the Penticton campus, which is our most southern campus. It's nestled between Okanagan Lake and Skaha Lake. So you can see from that photo there, obviously the lake is a huge part of the lifestyle. We also have over 200 wineries in that area. So it is an incredible spot. So I'm going to talk about some of the OC advantages. Why pick OC? The first one is small class sizes. So our average class size is about 18 students. So you're really going to know your fellow students, you're going to know your professors and instructors, and you're really going to benefit from that small class environment. Next is cultural diversity. So you will be studying with students from all over the world and different age groups as well. We'll touch a little bit later on. Ashley will talk about that when it comes down to what the students look like in the SBT program. Industry experienced professors. This is huge. So all of our instructors actually work in the industry that they teach in. So they're really well connected to the community, and they're able to help you with networking and ultimately land a job, which is the goal of completing the diploma. Next is hands-on learning. So you're doing real projects, you're building real structures, you're doing real projects. So it's going to reflect what your work is actually going to look like. Next, last there is affordable. So a college is more affordable than other post-secondary schools such as universities. So now I'm going to pass it off to Ashley, and he's going to talk more specifically about the Sustainable Building Technology Diploma.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. My name is Ashley Lubick. I'm the chair of the SBT program, also a professor. We're joined by another one of my coworkers, Aaron Spohr, and we have an alumni here, Omar Tamayo. So I'm going to lean on them at various points throughout this presentation, just to hear from them as well. The Sustainable Building Technology Program, that's what we're here to talk about. I'm going to give an overview of the program. But in this image here to the left, you'll see the beautiful Jimmy Pattison Center for Excellence, which is the building that we teach, work out of, and learn in. It's a living laboratory, and this is our campus, nestled in beautiful Penticton, British Columbia. Like I said, it is a living lab. It's one of the most efficient post-secondary education buildings in North America. We do some really cool things, collecting solar radiation. We have heat pumps. We recover heat off of the adjacent wastewater treatment facility. It's made using all sorts of cutting edge building design techniques, things like solar chimneys, passive cooling and shading techniques, and lots of really good sustainable materials. So it's a great building to learn in. And like I said, it is a living laboratory. So everything that we talk about in the program is really embedded into this structure. And, when we're spending time in the classroom or walking down the halls, we can see all of those values encapsulated in this particular building. It's won all sorts of awards. It's been recognized across North America for its excellence. It achieved LEED Platinum, and this is one of the most stringent, holistic green building certifications. And it also went after the Living Building Challenge, which is basically LEED on steroids. It's even more grand in its ambitions, but this building is really a testament of Okanagan College's commitment to sort of walking the talk. I have a short little video that just a bit of a teaser, highlights some shots from the campus of our students working in the field, as well as a bit of time on campus in the classroom as well.
The way we build is changing.
New communities, building codes, industry demands.
Driving increased performance, low carbon solutions, and healthier buildings.
Change requires integration, collaboration.
Resulting in vibrant and resilient neighborhoods.
Change is diverse. Champion new ways of seeing, thinking, and doing.
While getting the education you need to be an agent of change. Are you ready? The way we build.
So before I jump into the faculty, I think the thing that I just want to highlight is we are living in a time that is really demanding that we change in many different ways, and in particular with respect to the built environment. So that word change, it was threaded throughout that message, and with the evolution of building codes, our need to adapt to a changing climate, to mitigate some of those impacts. Our students and those that go into the workforce are really on that leading edge of creating that change for the future that is already here, but is rapidly coming at us. So we are trying to create these change makers that are starting to kind of challenge the old guard, old ways of doing things, and bringing in better systems, better techniques, better materials. And so it's a really exciting time because there is so much rapid change, but everybody that steps out of this program is ready for it. So in terms of our core faculty, there's myself, Ashley Lubick, Brian Rippey next to me over there, Amy Valancourt, Marty Paradine in the Brown Carnigan, and then Aaron Spohr, who's on this call today. And Ryan already talked about it, but we bring a lot of experience and varying backgrounds and expertise to the work that we do. So we're not just academics. I've worked in private industry. I've run my own business. I've worked in the not-for-profit sector. I've worked in local government, and I've balanced sort of the theoretical with the hands-on. Brian's worked all over the world as a sustainability consultant, has an engineering background. Amy as well, engineering background. Marty, he's our sort of municipal government, worked in a lot of renewable energy systems, had a passive house municipal building built when he was working in northern Alberta. And Aaron is, as it happens, is a former graduate of this program and is now teaching, but has a lot of experience estimating, works actively as a building designer. And so, across our team, we bring a lot of varied experience. So why is this important? I talked about, all of this change that's happening. If we look at the emissions across different sectors globally, we can see that over on the left-hand side, all of the energy that it takes to run buildings, so this is to turn the lights on, to heat them, to cool them, to run pumps, to deliver water, to deliver lighting, and all the other sort of services and ventilation, fresh air, that's about a 28% of global emissions. If we take all of the materials, so the materials to make steel, concrete, aluminum, glass, all of the insulation products, that's another 11%. So, all told, buildings represent about 40% of global CO2 emissions. So it's enormous. And what's really neat is, when we learn how to build buildings better, we can still build buildings and reduce these impacts significantly. So unlike driving, we do have electric cars now, but, a lot of the change is about changing our behavior, doing, taking different modes, right? Walking, riding our bicycles, that sort of thing. The really neat thing about buildings is once you get it figured out, we can still build buildings, but in doing so, we can minimize that impact by as much as 90%. And when it comes to materials and construction, we can actually choose materials that actually store carbon instead of emitting it. So, the entire world is sort of on this trajectory to reduce our impact, reduce our emissions. And it's a really cool time to be involved in a sector like this and, learning cutting edge techniques to do better. So we have new buildings that we need to house more people. We've heard all about this. If you've been watching the news, there's calls. We need to build more housing to get more affordable housing. But we also have over 15 million existing buildings that are in desperate need of renovation and retrofit and energy efficiency improvement. So, there's the new construction, but there's also this existing stock of buildings that requires a lot of care and attention too, if we're going to meet our climate goals and just build buildings that are adaptable, more resilient, that meet the comfort needs, the performance needs of people buying them. Buildings, as I already said, they use a lot of energy, they produce a lot of carbon, they use a lot of electricity, and they put a lot of demand on that electrical and gas infrastructure. So we're really looking for ways to do this better. And we have a lot of incredible tools that we can deploy to reduce those impacts. I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to lean on a couple of one of my colleagues to talk a little bit about another subject. But, in terms of the SBT program, it's a really exciting program in that it's multidisciplinary. We're not just doing trades type stuff. We're not just focused on construction management, but we have these different buckets: sustainability, building design, building science and systems, construction management, and then all of these service courses. So, things like sustainable materials, greening existing infrastructure, which is really a course focused on how do we retrofit buildings, including residences, institutional and commercial buildings for better performance, better health, regenerative design. And then, of course, we get into that building design where you're learning drafting skills, you're learning about building information modeling, so 3 and 4D sort of software tools. And there's some really, really practical, fun aspects of these courses where you get to, take these ideas and then render them into something that's living and that you can manipulate on a computer screen, which then can be built. The building science and systems piece, that's crucial. The way that we put materials together, sort of the building physics behind it, and how heat and air and moisture move. We learn about renewable energy systems. We learn about things like heat pumps and passive strategies. And then, of course, what's really important is not just how this works, but how do we put all of these things together, the scheduling and cost control, the project delivery, the estimating, so that we can take all of this and deliver these buildings in a really efficient and cost-effective manner as well. And then we also have these service courses that really support, the writing, the written and verbal communication, the computer applications, management principles, mathematics. Mathematics is relatively light. I just want to say that. Don't be spooked by this. But between all of these different areas, we have a really sort of holistic program that's a lot of fun, that balances both sort of the theoretical with the hands-on learning. We also have really good ties into industry. I'll have Aaron talk about that with respect to the capstone projects in a little bit. But we also, beyond that, we have a couple different options depending on where people are at. I'm going to talk about the 2 and 3 year option on the next slide. We'll talk about co-op a little bit later on, but this is kind of that high level overview. We also, being connected to industry, we are in touch with a lot of high performance builders, high performance designers. So we take our students out into the field to learn from those that are actually putting those buildings together. So this is Brett Chatello from Nido Design. He's a passive house designer, and the students are learning about this really incredible residential building that's using these TGI, these big deep wall cavities that get filled with recycled newspaper, cellulose insulation, to build these big, thick, super insulated walls. And these buildings sip energy in comparison to conventional building. This one is a finished multifamily passive house that's fully occupied. So see buildings that are both under construction, but as well as those that are finished and occupied. So, Aaron, supposing you're on this call still, I think you are. Would you mind just talking a little bit about the capstone project?
Sure. Our capstone projects are an option. Well, they're a 2-part class that our second years go through, second or third years go through, depending on which stream you're in. And what they're basically a partnership with a company in industry, and our students mainly in groups are working together and partnering with someone in industry on a real project. So we've had a whole host of different types of projects that our students have worked on, and it's typically a full year, school year worth of work. And at the end, as you can see in the slide here, our students present, and we have a great big capstone event, and our students present their work, and it's a fantastic opportunity for our students to showcase all the things that they've learned, to not just alumni. We have alumni come to the event, and obviously not just the other instructors, but to the greater public as well. And our connections with industry often show up to this event. So the capstones are really interesting, and it's a great way for students to kind of flex their muscles a little bit, and the amount of growth that we see over that last year, especially, is really impressive and astounding to me. So it's a really cool, it's a very cool and worthwhile, I think, class, and the students really get a lot out of it too.
Nice, Ryan. Maybe just to go back there, I think one of the things that this really speaks to is just sort of our relationship with industry. We've worked with municipalities like the city of Kelowna. We've worked with utilities, Fortis BC. We've worked with High Street Ventures, which is a large rental. They're a builder operator. Building some really high performance rental accommodation in the Okanagan and across British Columbia. Nido Design, which is a high performance architecture firm, and then the Community Energy Association, which is a not for profit that really works on energy efficiency education for builders and trade. So there's lots of opportunity depending on what your interest is to get paired up with something that's going to be interesting to you, and also that's focused on something that has a real community need. We also look for opportunities to take our coursework and make it more outward facing. So this was a course that I taught a couple, I guess this was last year or 2 years ago, where we follow the U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon Challenge, which is choosing a site in an existing neighborhood and from the ground up, meeting these different challenges and developing a completely self-sustaining net zero home that could be built, following all of the good architectural design principles, low energy, renewable energy, healthy building materials, affordability, all of these sorts of things. And these students, in this case, presented to our local building science and beers community, which is a group of industry professionals that are really committed to advancing green building in the Okanagan. So it's a really good opportunity to for the students to step outside the classroom and get that experience interfacing with people that are working in industry. And they produce a bunch of documentation, but this is just a small summary of one of the students' design projects. So they took this vacant lot that was just outside of downtown Penticton. They consulted, the local zoning and building bylaws, built a rationale for why this type of housing was needed, and fully rendered it, designed it, and laid everything out, including the project data, technical specifications, and created this really incredible project. So I think Aaron said it, a lot of the work that we do, it's very practical, it's very pragmatic. We're not just doing work for the sake of doing work. We're really trying to create things that are connected to what's going on in industry. We also have a co-op opportunity. And so this is a 12 to 16 week placement that's available to our students between their academic years. So if you're in a 2-year stream between your first and second year, it's an opportunity to get partnered with an industry partner to do some work related to the industry, to get that experience, and can yield very, very good results. If you're in your 3-year stream, which we'll talk about in a bit, you can take co-op between your first and second year, as well as your second and third year. So, lots of opportunity. And our Careers Hub is a great service at Okanagan College, not just for co-op placements, but also for all sorts of job placements post-graduation as well. We are also, as of a few months ago, we are undergoing accreditation. So, I won't go down a rabbit hole with this, but technical programs like this are increasingly subject to oversight. So there's something in British Columbia called the Professional Governance Act that applies to all sorts of technicians, and soon to be applying to architectural building construction technologists. So that's squarely where we fit. And so we've been proactive, and we're on track to be an accredited program by fall 2025. So in March we have our audit. We're going through the process right now. But what's really great about accreditation is it ensures that quality assurance. It gives our graduates recognition. It shows that there is continuous improvement, both within the program, but also those that are part of TAC as the accrediting body. There's also continuing educational requirements that are a part of that as well. And then, just in terms of, standing apart, it's a great marketing opportunity. And I think there's another Ryan on this call. I think we've been talking a little bit, and I think Ryan was saying that the last time he took a program, it wasn't accredited, and when he's going out looking for jobs and stuff, that this is something that employers are looking for increasingly, and so we're really trying to be proactive there and making sure that everybody that steps out of our program is fully accredited. Yeah, we have a very diverse classroom. It's a lot of fun. Not just in terms of the diversity of students from across the country, but from around the world. So we have students from India, Philippines, Vietnam, China. We have students from Africa, Nigeria, Germany, UK, Poland, Mexico, Nicaragua, Brazil. And so it makes for a really diverse learning environment. People from other parts of the world bring a lot of sort of new perspectives that really help us to widen our lens on what's possible. And we have a really diverse age range as well in the classroom. We've had students from 18 to 69. And I'm not kidding you. We've had a number of students that upon retirement have stepped into this program. So, I'd say our average age of students somewhere between 25 and 35, depending on, the year and the cohort. But we've had success with students, as young as 18 and all the way through. I did update this slide. I'm not sure why it's not showing, but at one point we did seem to have a male to female ratio that was about 5-1. But in our last intake, we're basically at 1-1. So this really changes year to year. And I think we're starting to see a lot more female students step into the building technologies, which is really, really encouraging. I think at this point, I'd love to just lean on Omar. He's one of our international students. I see Letitia is here as well. If either of you want to jump on and just talk a little bit about your experience in the program, I'd really appreciate that.
Go first, Leti.
Thanks, Omar. Thank you so much, guys, for the opportunity of sharing my experience with the program. My apologies in advance for joining a little bit late, but the traffic was grabbing me. So yeah, the recommendation for the program, from my perspective, it's incredible. It provided me with all the tools I had to be able to apply for a job position, to have a professional job in Canada. And me as an international student, that was a great achievement. And I felt like the SBT program provided me with the knowledge of being able to do that. And we finished the school, let's say, on a Friday afternoon, and on a Monday morning I was in the office starting with my new job. So I think, of course, that there's not only the job component, but also in terms of being confident and be able to finish the program and such, graduating with the different tools from estimating to all the things that Ashley just mentioned, and have a great opportunity to spend and to learn with great teachers, different backgrounds, different interests. It will help me to be able to achieve one of my goals, that it was finding a job quickly in something that I like, in something that I think that I am good at, in something that I enjoy. And for sure, the SBT program was one of the main components to be able to do that. And yeah, that's what I have to say. And I will pass it to Omar.
Thank you, Letty.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So excited to see the pictures and remember all that moments 2 years ago. It's very exciting. So what I would like to share is more about the life in campus. For example, for me was something that was very important. I mean, the program was an opportunity to build friendship and also professional connections now. So uh, I would recommend that. The campus is beautiful. It has very nice installations. The building where the program takes place, it's a living laboratory, and I mean you can learn by seeing all the technologies applied into a real construction. Also, that activities such as the capstone project and the shadowing activities gives you the opportunity to interact with real cases and real industry, and furthermore, it's to have an opportunity to look for some job positions into that field. Uh, One thing very important for me also was the flexibility of the program. As you already mentioned about the difference of age. By the way, I'm not the 69, I'm younger than that, but the age, the nationality, but also the background. In my case, I didn't have too much experience in construction, but the flexibility of the program adapts very well on your level of knowledge and interest. So, I mean, it's a well-designed program made for all interested in construction, in sustainability, and developing other skills for developing a business or being involved in leadership. So I love the way that it is designed and keeps the interest in all the students. So yeah, and about the faculty members, I think having uh, this experienced group of faculty members and sharing all that knowledge. And it's not only that they know a lot, they know how to transmit that knowledge. That's a very important part of the program. Yeah, you're very welcome to the campus.
Thank you, Omar and Letisa. So yeah, basically, the interesting thing about a program that is interdisciplinary, that has the kind of focus that we do, is it lends itself to all sorts of opportunities. Whether you want to get your hands dirty and get building houses in a better way, or leading projects as a project coordinator or construction project manager, whether or not you want to become an energy advisor or do consulting. There's all sorts of opportunities with lead projects, passive house projects. I know some of these things will probably be new to some of you, but these are sort of voluntary efficiency and holistic building design certifications that a lot of projects are following these days. There's opportunity for energy modeling and building information specialization. There's this whole world of emerging, different building materials, high performance building materials, better windows, those sorts of things. So, Leticia didn't say it, but she works for a mass timber company. So this is a company that takes small pieces of wood and they basically glue them together, and they make these incredible structural panels that can be used. So big beams or posts, or even walls or floor slabs as concrete replacement. So the Okanagan has all sorts of really interesting materials. So we have students that kind of are sprinkled out in all sorts of different areas when it comes to career opportunities, and it really depends on what your interest is. And this is a former graduate from a few years back, but Kylie, she said that an SPT diploma is invaluable with the direction construction is heading. You'll be rewarded with many diverse job opportunities after graduating. So it doesn't pigeon you whole into one thing. So that's the really beautiful thing about this program and any sort of interdisciplinary study. But of course, we are seeing this really big employment shift. So this is from the International Energy Agency, their World Energy Outlook. There's a huge growth in clean energy. So everything from innovative technologies, end-use renewables, but the biggest is efficiency. And when it comes to buildings, as we saw earlier, buildings, this is the single biggest area where we can have tremendous impact. So that in efficiency category, that's a big focus area of ours, and we're seeing a lot of employment in that area as well. On the next slide, if we dial in and we look at British Columbia, if we look at the labor market outlook, the most recent one, we can actually see in terms of the high opportunity occupations, we have construction managers as well as home building and renovation managers. So these are the people that coordinate all the activities that really deliver buildings. And, there's an increasing need for managers that really understand this holistic thinking about buildings, high performance buildings, healthy buildings. And so, if we look at these sectors, between now and 2033, we're going to need about 2,200 new construction and home building renovation managers in the Okanagan alone. This number is well above 10,000 across the province, and this trend continues across the country. So, it is an opportunity, and that construction management, this involves project coordinators and all the other sort of lesser roles, depending on your experience. So lots of opportunity here. So I think at this point, I'm just going to hand it back to Ryan to talk a little bit about some of the services that we have available to us at Okanagan College.
All right. Thank you, Ashley. So I am actually a former student from Okanagan College. I did the business program, and I definitely used a lot of these different services. So the first one I want to talk about is financial aid and awards. This one is huge. We give out over $1 million every year back to students. So I highly recommend reaching out to the financial aid and awards team and setting up an appointment to see what is available to you. There's hundreds of awards. There are some awards that are just specific to a program, or you might have a family member who works for a company that has an award. So there's a lot of options out there. They can also help with any funding and student loans as well. Next is student housing. So we just opened up 216 new beds at the Kelowna campus for a total of 360. Vernon, at the start of the fall semester, opened up 100 beds. Salmon Arm in January just opened up 60 beds. And then Penticton's going to be getting 101 beds in 2026. So that's everything from studios to 2-bedroom and 4-bedroom units. And it's more affordable as well. Student Success Center. So that is free tutoring within the library. So you can reach out to them and book an appointment. It's free, so they can help with math, science, English, going over drafts of any papers that you've done. So that's definitely a service that I used a lot and benefited from. Indigenous services. So every campus has a room that is Indigenous services. It's a place where you can just go and hang out. If you want to learn more about the Silks Okanagan people, you can go there, and they often have coffee, games. It's a really fun place that you can go to. They also can help with any band funding and any awards that are specific to Indigenous students. Athletics and recreation. So the photo in the top left there is the gym that is located at the Penticton campus. Kelowna is also getting a new recreation and wellness center that is starting. It's actually already started construction. So definitely, and it's important to take a break from school. We do have fitness centers on site. So as a student, it only costs $10 the entire time that you're a student to access those fitness centers. And they also host different events throughout the year. So for example, they'll organize a ski trip up to Silver Star or Big White, and it's a great way to meet other students and enjoy the ski hills at a reduced cost. Counseling services. So school can be an incredibly stressful time. So as a student, you get up to 10 free sessions throughout the time of your program. So it doesn't have to be school related. It could be anything related to your personal life. And you can either meet with them in person or via Zoom. Now, that picture on the bottom left is one of my favorite pictures that we have, because an event that they will host a couple times a year is Pizza and Puppy. So they'll bring in therapy dogs where you can come and hang out and play with them and eat some pizza. Disability access services. So if you need any accommodations with writing exams, having someone take notes for you, or even just physically getting around the campuses, you can set that up with them. So you would want to reach out to them. They will require a doctor's note, and they'll be able to set up those accommodations. And then Ashley did talk about Careers Hub. So if you do want to do a co-op, which is an option in this program, you can see what's available to you. There's also job postings that you're able to access that are only available to Okanagan College students, but they also help with networking and interview skills, and as well as building your resume and making any changes on those. They also have events where they will connect you to employers in the community. So we're going to go over the next steps. All right. So if you want to apply, you can apply online. If you already have an Education Planner BC account, you just want to log into that or sign up for one. There's a QR code there. If you want to apply today, you can scan that. It'll take you right to that page. And it is a $30 fee. But if you want to send me a direct message, I can send you a voucher code, or someone from my team will send you a voucher code to make that free. So we really encourage that if you are interested in this program, please apply. It's takes about 2 days to hear back from our admissions team, and we can get the ball rolling on your on becoming a student. Student for a day. You can send an email to that email address there. It's just studentforaday@okanagan.bc.ca. If you are going to be committing a number of years to this program, I'm sure you want to make sure that you actually are going to like being a student in it. So you can attend a full day of classes. It's a great way to ask the instructors and professors questions, but also ask the students that are currently going through questions. So if you want to set that up, please send an email to that email address there. You can also find that on our website under Visit a Campus. And if you are currently in high school, you can talk to your careers counselor and they'll be able to set that up as well. So that is our contact information. If you did want to reach out, please send an email. You can always phone that number as well, or visit our page to see any events that are going on. We often host open houses. We just had some the past couple of weeks, but it's also a great way to hear about all of our programs. So I did mention we would love to hear from you. So if you scan that QR code there, it'll take you to a short survey. We will select one person that completed it, and I'll send an email about getting you an OC branded shirt. But it's a great way to shape the program. You can put your input in for class structure, times, days, all of that. So we would really encourage everyone to fill that out. We're going to open it up to questions. I'll pass it back to Ashley to see if he has anything to add before we open the floor to questions. But yeah, we would love to hear from you.
Yeah. Like Ryan said, we're here. We have another 13 minutes or longer to answer any questions that you might have. Tried to provide fairly thorough overview, but I'm sure there might be some more particular questions that one of us can answer. I believe we have somebody from international as well to answer some questions if there are any international students on the call. So feel free to type them in the chat or turn on your mic, whatever works for you. The other thing I will say is, you can certainly reach out to Ryan. If you have any questions about anything that's really program specific, about specific courses, the schedule, that sort of thing, you can reach out to me and we can set up a time. We can have a phone call. We can set up a Zoom meeting to do something one-on-one. But I know there's a few people on this call already that I've been emailing back and forth with. So really happy to answer any of those questions with you directly. Any questions at all? Nikita had a question. When is the deadline for application? We don't typically have a hard and fast deadline, but my recommendation, especially given that we have some discount codes here today, is to apply as soon as possible. That way you're in the queue. If there's anything in terms of requirements, anything with your application, we can deal with those sooner. If you have to take a math class, for instance, we can help with that. So my recommendation is the sooner the better. But if you're thinking, well, can I still apply in April, for instance? Yes, you can. So one of the questions, how much time would be spent learning Revit, assuming that would be the go-to program? Aaron, do you want to speak about that?
Hi, Ryan. Yes, we typically have one full semester course for SketchUp, and that's drafting in BIM 1, and then we have a full semester for Revit typically the second half of that drafting course. So it's one full semester for SketchUp, one full semester for Revit, and usually our students, I've taught that class a number of times, and our students have a really good level of competency once they're finished.
I guess I'll just add to that, beyond just learning the software, it also gets applied in your other classes. So, in your materials class, can use those programs to render wall assemblies, for instance. When you get to your sustainable design and development program, Leticia can speak to it. It becomes comes in handy because you have to render an entire building inside and out. So you get a lot of experience with that. And some of our students for their capstone projects will lean heavily on those tools as well. So, I think Leticia, you could probably speak to just the competency that you gained in the program using those programs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the program includes not only using the software, but being able to understand plans, plan views, section cuts, different views of the building, 3Ds, and all that. And it will provide you with the knowledge of being able to go through the plans. And then you will learn about scales, you will learn about materials, you will learn about rendering, and the instructors will guide you to be able to produce your own plan set. And also, beyond that, for example, I remember Aaron took us to the city's website where we used the actual regulations for the city of Penticton. Depending on the zoning that we chose to develop our plan set, we were actually looking for the regulations that the city of Penticton had in place back then. Or if he was in Kelowna, for instance, then we will go to that website. So it will give you like the opportunity to interact with real cases, with real zoning rules, and such, and it will give you like a better view of what's going on in the industry. And in my case, for example, when we learn Revit, it has helped me a lot because the majority of the plan sets that I receive in my job are Revit models, and then we are able to convert those Revit models into the software that we use for the mass timber components. So again, when you're familiar with the software that is used as the base standard in the industry, then you will be like you will be handling a great tool to go beyond not only the plan set, but also to convert big models and to go and, to have conversations with people. Like when you receive a plan set that you understand, that you can talk about, that you can read, specifications, it will help you a lot.
Thank you, Leticia.
Yeah.
I did see a question here from Lori about, I'll just read it. I have a question about the focus of the program to build structures and to teach about all buildings being fossil fuel free. Need to stop hooking homes to gas. Does SBT still encourage fossil fuel? I mean, the simple question is we try to give our students the skills to face anything they might encounter in industry. And so, when it comes to, existing homes, when it comes to certain jurisdictions, having an understanding of those systems is obviously very important. But of course, we have all sorts of courses that are focused on sustainability. So, first and foremost, our focus is about making our buildings use significantly less energy than otherwise, and then at that point, once we've done that, we can then focus on more of the mechanical systems and those less passive elements. We also, having my background coming out of municipal government, we speak to the students about things like the BC Energy Step Code and the Zero Carbon Step Code, so that they are up to date and aware of the regulations around carbon emissions now, as well as what's coming down the pipe in the future. We also teach tools like BEAM software or MCE2, which is a software program that allows a a user to enter all of the different materials and calculate what the carbon impact of those materials are. So, we're not just looking at the fossil fuels to run a building, but all of the fossil fuels at all aspects of a building. So it's more holistic than that. But we're not dogmatic about anything. We're really trying to prepare the students with the best information necessary to make good decisions for their projects. So yeah, I hope everyone in the chat, Ryan put his email. If you're interested in a voucher code to apply for free, you can send Ryan an email there. If there are international students on this call, Amir has put an email address for international recruitment. One thing that I might do, a slide seemed to have gotten dropped out of the presentation. I was just going to talk a little bit about the schedule. So Ryan, I might just share my screen if we could. So can everybody see a slide that says SBT program course overview? Okay. So yeah, just to give you a sense, we talked about the 2 or 3 year options. And so, this is really just giving students additional flexibility. A 2 year course load, it's a relatively heavy course load. You're taking 7 or 8 classes per semester. This is probably the stream that most of our students take. They want to, get the education, get on with life. And so, if you take that 2 year stream, you're typically in class Monday to Friday. In your second year, we try to give our second year students Fridays off. Whereas the 3 year stream, it's just, gives a little bit more spaciousness. You get a little bit more breathing room. So if you have a family or if you're working, maybe a little bit more breathing room to do those things. So all the same courses, but just spread out over 6 semesters instead of 4. We try to get those classes to a maximum of 3 days a week. So you're not taking those 5 classes across 5 days. And if you filled in the survey, you'll see that we do have flexibility. Depending on the cohort, there is flexibility for some online as well as hybrid courses. So we really try to work with you. So just want to put that out there. So if anybody has any specific questions about the schedule or the course overview, I'm also happy to answer those as well. Question for Ryan is, what is the voucher code for?
So it's just to apply to the program for free. Typically, as a domestic student, it costs $30 to apply. So we'll actually waive the $30 fee with that voucher code. So just let me know if you want one, and I'll just collect your email address from you and send you that. Oh, you're muted there, Ashley.
Sorry, thank you. Sorry. I see Kara. What math requirements are needed? That is a good question. I will very quickly get that for you. I'm just going to go to the admission requirements. I'm going to share my screen again. So if we look here, you'll see a minimum of 60% in any of pre-calculus grade 12 Foundations of Mathematics grade 12, Principles of Mathematics 12, Applications of Mathematics 12, Adult Basic Math 012, or an Okanagan College Math 120. Or a minimum of 67% in Pre-Calculus grade 11, Principles of 11, Mathematics 11, Adult Basic Math 11. There's a proficiency test you can take as well. So yeah, lots of options. Ryan, is Math 120 available online? That's a good question.
So yeah, I can speak to that. I know we don't have the summer upgrading schedule quite yet. It should be released in the next 2 weeks. So to answer your question right now, I'm not too sure. We do offer free upgrading though at the college, and then there are other alternatives to getting your math upgraded through distance education schools. So if you do need to upgrade your math, please send me an email and I can let you know about the different options depending what will work for you.
Very good. And Ryan, maybe if you could just put up that last slide again with my contact information and yours, just so that if anybody wants to jot that down. I know we are at time. I'm happy to stick around for a few moments if anybody else wants to speak with me directly. But I just want to thank Aaron for attending today. Yeah, if you're in the program, you'll get the privilege of spending a lot of time with Aaron, and great value to this program. Thank you, Omar. I think Leticia is still on this call. Thanks for attending and just sharing your experience. And, to everybody else that's still here, thank you so much. Amir, thank you for coming down from International. Hopefully you get an email or two. But yeah, thanks so much. Really appreciate you taking the time. And, invitations there, reach out to me, reach out to Ryan, or anybody else that provided their contact information.
Thank you so much for having us, Ashley. And one more time, guys, do not hesitate to enroll yourself into the SBT program. It will be a life-changing experience for sure.
Thanks, Nikita.
Have a good night, everyone.